Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave for this early afternoon, early evening stream over here from Chicago, Illinois. Nice and gloomy outside. Looks like it's about to thunderstorm once again. And this video not being recorded live on Twitch. In fact, it's just going to be a recorded video, just regular, because I do want to bring back the proof of trade. As I've been getting a lot of very interesting comments recently, like, Krown, why are you not showing your trades anymore? Are you wrecked? It's like, no, actually, in fact, I'm going to show you some things today, which we're going to go deep into options right now, because I want to show how, with regards to the last week or so, which my calls recently, I've actually not been that good. But with regards to my options trading, I can still make money based off that. So I want to go back into and kind of explain it, not for the people who make comments like that, because they probably don't give a fuck. They're probably just, making conversation. But for the people who really want to go into a deep dive on options, I love talking about this shit. So without further ado, man, I want to wish you the best. Always the happiest as well. Oh, by the way, just had a little talk on Tone Vay's channel. So if you want to check that out, definitely go head on over to Tone Vay's channel. And with that said, I'll see you in the live scene. Teleportation initiated, and there she is. Okay, motherfucker. There we go. Okay, so Bitcoin, or sorry, not Bitcoin, but Deribit, showing my options positions right here. You can see I'm short just a shit ton of these call strikes. So yesterday, coming into the market, remember, I was looking for this area to have continuation to the upside. That was my bias, right? And I was managing things off of this blue box territory right on over here. And essentially, as soon as we go below this blue box territory, that to me was a break of structure and said that we're going to likely head down to 10,000, which we did hit that target, pretty damn nice. And so at the end of the day, when I look at this from an options trading perspective, I remember I was long coming into that. I longed the 10 to 50 area, I believe it was. What was it right here? And then the breakout above the 200 simple on the 4 hour right here as well. And that first foray above the blue box. So essentially the way that I set this up is I'm long the spot underline based off of structure right here, right? Then once we pop back up into this region right here, we hit this resistance, I start to cover some. The way that I cover though, as you can see going into the charts right here, is I sell these 10,500 strikes, which now are actually out of the money, so they don't really count, but that's why I sold the 10,000 strike. We'll get to that later. Anyways, when I sold these guys, I believe that I got to sell them for like $400 or $500. So in the same way, it's kind of like selling stock at, 10.9, 10.8 region, which, once we go back below, that kind of complicates the whole thing, but we'll get to that in just a second. Anyways, my point is that with my trading style, once we pop up into this region right here, I'm taking profits at a higher price essentially. And then if we come back down below this area right here, what I'll do is I love this trade because what I can do is I can take off my spot position and hold the decaying call option as structure breaks down, get to take profit on my spot position, and now take even more profit higher on those options, as you can see. So I actually, this position right here running about a 1.17 Bitcoin profit, that was actually a little bit higher this morning because I actually did have another 10 lots short on this 11,000 strike that I think I sold for like $200. Let's actually go check price on that. I mean, you can also see that I'm short next week as well, but that we'll get into in just a second as well. Anyways, looks okay. I closed right here, but where's my P&L? My P&L, it would say that I have negative P&L. That literally makes no sense. I sold them for like $200 and I bought them back for 0.0020. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. That's a profit of like what, $180 per contract times 10. So there you go. Anyways, so once that breaks down, as soon as we break down below that next point, below this point on price structure, what I do is because I'm biased now to us kind of, hanging out on the downside here. That was like my big invalidation point from the medium time frames perspective. Let me just make sure that I'm actually recording. Okay, voice is working. Let me turn off the desktop audio. Just make sure that no fucking Lexington Steel sounds come out of the woodworks right there. Anyways, as soon as we go below here, the reason why I sold this 10,000 strike calls is so that if I do want to go long on the spot underline, because again, remember, once we lost this area right here, the target was 10,000. In this case, we actually even went below there. But I short the 10,000 strike calls for about $600, $700 at that point, and then I can hold those, and that gives me an opportunity to do the exact same thing if we decide to actually bottom out and start to reverse right here. Again, I can essentially buy the spot underline. I'm already short those 10,000 strike calls, so it's essentially kind of like a free roll trade in a sense, as long as we hold this horizontal right here. So what I'm doing now is I essentially wait for price action kind of unravel itself. I do think that short term, we probably actually, maybe not short term, but like, over the next few days, probably create a range between about 11.1 and 9,900. As we spoke about this morning, Bitcoin likely to pop back up to 10.1. We got that. In fact, actually a little bit higher than that, almost 10.2 right there. But nonetheless, we are still on a closing basis, just operating between this range. So if Bitcoin can actually put in a base right here, if it can actually form a nice little low, a local low, then I'll be happy to long the spot underline again. It feels to me, it gives me a nice base point at this region, and then I'm covered up until about like 10.6, and even then it's still profit at that point because I sold those calls at 10.6. It's just I don't make anything above that between spot and the premium sold, of course. So looking at all of that and going forwards here, the way that I kind of see this playing out and getting the actual analysis now is that on the daily schedule, we do see that the 89 exponential moving average is still acting as support. Now, don't get me wrong, this structure it's starting to take on a more bearish tone in the higher time frames. The 2-day does not look good. The 3-day does not look good. The daily, you can make an excuse for it, but essentially the most bullish thing that I can see happening right here is really just Bitcoin going sideways, as funny as it is. Again, just making sure that my mic is working. Okay, it is. Oh, by the way, I turned up my mic a shit ton right there. It's probably way too loud. Oh, sorry about that. Let me I guess I'll just turn it down now. So maybe here's a better play. I don't know. I can't listen to it right now. Sorry. Anyways, hopefully this is not ruining any ear holes, and hopefully I don't have to record this later. Anyways, but overall, this 89 exponential moving average, most important for me for overall structure. As long as we're closing above there on a daily total base, I still think that you still kind of go with the former trend, even if it kind of looks kind of nasty, to be fair. But looking at this Finex chart, we do see that we're essentially just operating in this massive symmetrical triangle right here, and the apex on this triangle isn't even coming in until about middle of October, early October, essentially. So I don't really expect a break on this, or at least statistically speaking, it's not extremely likely to break until we get to this region here, like early September, early to mid-September, which is actually not that far away. Just looking at my calendar right now, we're about a couple weeks away from there, about 2.5 weeks away from there. So if Bitcoin essentially goes sideways in this region, or around that time, I'm just trying to say that I don't really expect, if this is going to be bullish, I actually don't expect resolution on this really for like another 2.5 to 3, maybe even 4 weeks. Basically around when BACT comes out online, as BACT will be coming in around 23rd of September, right? And it kind of does line up with this projection, again, setting it, looking for resolution on this triangle somewhere in this region right here, which would be about a week before BACT comes online. And a lot of the times you will see those events start to be front ran. Anyways, with regards to that, this triangle pretty damn massive, and does have a measure move if we break to the downside. Again, I want to see a daily total close below the 89. Would have a measure move actually all the way down here towards 7,200. Now, of course, I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to just shoot down there in a straight fucking line. And you probably realize that I cover a lot of my tracks a lot of the time, just because for whatever reason, I really let these YouTube comments get to me sometimes. Like, people say some like really, really nasty things, and it's really what it is. It's just a misunderstanding at the end of the day. It's a misunderstanding. A lot of the times it'll actually end up going in the way that I said. It's just, people just want to, I don't know. I don't really understand the mindset of someone who just like does that. I don't know. Maybe it feels good. I don't know. Anyways, by the same token, if we do break this up to the upside, then it would be, and sorry, this is also confluent. This target would also be confluent with the 200 simple and 3/7 exponential moving average right on over here, which very, very important for long-term trend. It's typically going to be a major, massive support. So it'd kind of be like a no-brainer buy. Famous last words, of course, as well. If we did come back down around this region, but again, that would be only if we break to the downside. I'm actually more neutral on this than anything. In fact, I guess just because we are coming off of a form of major trend to the upside, technically speaking, I'm supposed to be bullish here, which, I'd like to be. Just being bullish is easier, and honestly, whatever. It doesn't. As a trader, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, my opinion does not dictate my trades, as we just saw before. It's these pivot levels that we can base trades off of, not opinion levels. Opinions you can't standardize against them, so it makes kind of documenting it and creating some sort of an edge quite literally impossible. It kind of destroys the point. You're gambling at that point. Anyways, with regards to what we're looking at here, I do think that this is this is more or less just more sideways for this for the next probably like the next week or two. Anyways, if we do look at this, we do see confirmation on the volume signature going down from left to right. We do see historical volatility percentile also agreeing with this, going down from left to right as well. In fact, this would suggest historical volatility percentile that we are still downtrending. We still have a long ways to go. And typically when you see this thing get at the very least below like a 24, like a 25 read, and especially once you get into like the teens or lower than that, it becomes extremely likely to expand. Remember, this is a mean reverting indicator, and once it gets down all the way to 0, it can only go one way, baby. And in this case, the last example that we have was back on over here in March 2019, where expanded, and Bitcoin essentially expanded as well, very explosively, about almost a 4x to the upside, I believe it was. And of course, the last time before that we were at a 0 read was right around here, where Bitcoin just dumped all the way from 6,000 to 3,000, right? So all these things, things typically do have some pretty massive implications with price action. We essentially see that that's kind of setting the stage like longer term for a major breakout out of this region. It doesn't tell us direction. It just tells us that a big volatile move is likely coming, which I would agree with. If we do break this to the upside, the measure move would take us to about 14,500 and probably higher after that. This would probably be the start of a trend to the upside. I do think that Bitcoin would likely just, float its way on to, 16,000, maybe, probably prior high, at that point as well. But that's, more longitudinal thing. I want to be very distinct and separate myself from most people, in the crypto sphere talking about like big breakout and big breakdowns every day, because realistically, I mean, sideways is the name of the game. I've been saying this for the last like month and a half straight, that we're most likely to just keep the range, and we're not seeing any big breakouts or breakdowns. If you're a trader right now, you can take some time off. I mean, unless you're trading like the super low time frames, which, hey, fair enough. To each their own. I don't think it's like the best use of time, but all good. And this is the time to like be trading options, anyways. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right there. As far as the higher time frames go, I do want to check out our oscillators here. We got daily Stokes actually up right now. Oh my God, man, a lot of people in here. What's up, Brian Walls? Good to meet you, man. Immortalized in the video. We do see daily Stokes up here, although very weak. This is this is kind of a non-event. I don't really consider this like this is not a strong signal. I want to see like actual divergence and gaining momentum away from each other, going to the upside if this is going to really reverse it. And more importantly, we do see 12-hour Stokes in a little bit of a precarious place as well, looking like they almost want to cross down here. The problem is that if they do cross down, I still look at the same level as as that major point, which is also going to be concurrent with the 12-hour 200 simple moving average right on over here, as you can see, and actually perfectly got our lower wick today. But the thing with that is, and what makes this a little bit more nasty, is that the 12-hour Stokes have been really good. Now, remember, this is not confirmed. This is not. I repeat, this is not confirmed. But if we were to see a confirmed cross to the downside on these babies, that would not bode too well for Bitcoin price action. As you can see, this is actually each and every cross here has got the momentous moves, like all of the tops and all the bottoms within this consolidation pretty much perfectly. The last cross the upside was right here, as you can see, matching up with this point. Then the cross before, well, I guess maybe you can't. Wait, yeah, you can see that. I'm just looking at the computer right there. You can't see this one right here, but it was crossing down right here. Cross the upside right here. You can't see that one either, like literally right on the low. Cross the downside right here. Can you see that? No, you can't. We can see this one right here, though. Cross the upside, this one to the downside, and this one to the upside, and also this one to the downside. So the 12-hour has been getting the consolidations extremely well, multi-thousand dollar moves, except for this last one, which we got from about 95 all the way to about 11. Well, I guess it's 11, 1.5. Pretty good, okay. I mean, certainly tradable. Don't get me wrong. Anyways, again, this is not confirmed that it's crossing the downside. It looks weak, but it's not confirmed. If it were to confirm to the downside, which is going to take at least another 12 hours from today's daily total close, so about 13 hours and 12 minutes, if I calculated that correctly. Yeah, I think I did. Or 11 minutes, I should say. Then yes, I would say that there's going to be more pressure to the downside. But for now, to me, it looks like Bitcoin's going to try to put it in another just sloppy as fuck base, in the way that Bitcoin loves to put in these sloppy fucking bases. But hey, at the end of the day, that's what we love Bitcoin. And for now, even if this, this area has to break right here, really, for me to get like super bearish. Super bearish is the wrong term. Super bearish would kind of imply like we go to new all-time lows. I feel like a real downtrend move, like a real trending move. That's actually like really worth trading. Not that these weren't worth trading. I think if you shorted 11,000, you did like a really phenomenal job. I think if you shorted right here on this high at 11.7, that was a great technical play as well. And of course, the ultimate high right here at about 13.9 on the 618 fib. But more importantly, with the price action, with with regards to what we're doing here, you can see that Bitcoin's essentially forming what appears to be a little base of support right now. And typically what you see in these more like muddy territories of price action is Bitcoin will just kind of go sideways if it is going to pick itself up. Obviously, the most bearish thing that can happen here is we actually shoot back down through and close a daily total below one of our prior lows, actually. Our last one right around here, right around 10,000 even. Although you can see that this is going to be a little bit in danger today. In fact, we are going to be cutting it damn close, in fact. Let me see where Bitstamp closed. Bitstamp closed about 10,000 even, yeah. I'd still, I wouldn't be as ticked off about just taking out this low by closing this daily total below it. I would really be paying attention to the Cyan 89 exponential moving average. That's the big one for me. Until that one breaks, I probably wouldn't be taking that trade. And so many eyes are on this right now. Like I feel like sentiments right now are certainly bearish. I think that that's very obviously represented in the crypto fear and greed index, which we can look at in chart formation right now, which is literally at the same lows that we see during all of 2018 essentially. I mean, even lower than a lot of those lows, only on massive extremes on the market, like during the actual lows of 3100 here did we get this low before. And before that, hey, fuck you. Sorry, don't fuck yourself, but hey, get out of my face, trade view. Do better. Just kidding. But the other times before that are like coming off of, God damn it. It's everywhere, on pivots like this, here and here. And you also can even see a little bit of divergence plays in these guys too. You see a very smidgen of divergence. Let me just scroll in here, kind of like what we're looking for. We see a little bit, let's get an actual example, like right here and here. I think this was our lows most recently. Yeah, you see a little bit of bullish divergence here between this point and this point, and then Bitcoin pops up for what, like a $1,500 move, it looks like. So not bad. Anyways, my point is that if Bitcoin actually can confirm a local low here, it has not done this just yet, but if it can, and then we'll just talk about what needs to be done for it to confirm a local low, then this would be considered divergence as well. They are at the exact same level, which does count as divergence. It's just not super strong. And more importantly, you do see that the purple histogram right here, representing the correlation between Bitcoin prices and the fear and greed index, has been pretty damn spot on. So when we're feeling fearful, it is it more or less gets it right. Is what I'm trying to say, and only on pivots do we actually see a negative correlation. So my point is, and then also what we also see here is I have a Bollinger Band on these babies, and you can see that whenever we approach the just any one of the extremes, whether it's the top or the bottom bands, typically do find supports or resistance within those regions. So I would say that does kind of add up, or sorry, does bode well for this as well right here, as we are kind of getting close to this, although it is expanding at the same time, so a little bit nasty. But anyways, looking at price action right here, and kind of judging that in with regards to this, if we can set in a local low here, if we can confirm a local low, then that would look pretty damn good, at least for a move back up to test, around probably 11,000 and beyond. Anyways, what would confirm this area right here as a local low? Well, really need to go down to, can we do this on a 4 hour? I think we could do it on a 4 hour, yeah. If we could, I think this is the lowest time frame that you could legitimately do and have okay results. But I'm also going to talk about a counterpoint to this in just a second. Let's take all these guys off, or sorry, let's leave this one on. We need 3 here. All right, so there's 2 competing factors. First and foremost, the blue 3/7 exponential moving average, as long as we are below there, no local low at all. If we can get back above there, you can make the argument for a local low on a 4-hour total closing time frame. Back above 10, and sorry, that is at about 10 to 50-ish region. Although I would say if you want to be a little bit more conservative, I would be waiting for a tick back above the 10.5 region, right around here. Now, with that said, as you can see, we do have the death cross in line, and the death cross is more or less getting respected. That's what the advent of yesterday night's price action kind of told us, right? With price action dumping literally as soon as these 2 moving averages were going to converge on each other, which again is the green 50 and the purple 200 right here. So the market was, this was a little bit of a bull trap in the interim, or sorry, in the short term. Now, is it gonna end up being a big long-term bull trap? Maybe, but that won't be confirmed until we actually do the opposite of that by taking out the daily 89 exponential moving average. So we do have a chance to really, we actually do have a chance to make some pretty nice trades in this range. There's actually some things like really starting to formulate itself. I do believe that if Bitcoin can maintain back above, like on an open and closed basis, above the blue 3/7 exponential moving average, then we probably do work our way back up and test at the very least this region right here. And at that point, this is going to start to look a lot more like reaccumulation in just, again, a very, very sloppy way that Bitcoin can do it. And then I'd be looking for things to pop back up into, the higher 11,000s. But remember, one step at a time. And now I have to really be careful with my words, because anytime I say something like that, someone will always come up and say, but you said that. It's like, yes, but understand where this changes, because nothing's set in stone in this game. That's also why this is not a signal service. If you're looking for signals, you're just in the wrong place. I'm not saying that you have to go or anything like that. I mean, you can stay here, of course, but just understand that if you're taking signals from me, it's first off, I can be wrong. Second off, I'm also trading options and futures and spot, so I'm going to be doing a lot of different things. And as you can see, I can take some bad trades that would be considered bad, but still make money off of that, with just a little bit of knowledge of that. So that's what I say about that. Anyways, with regards to this price action right here, the death cross does not bode well for this. I do not like how this one has opened back up. So yesterday we spoke about this, that as of yesterday, this whole price action was looking very similar to what we saw during June 2016, and we had a very similar posture to kind of go off of. So basically we were looking at a massive uptrend right on over here. We see Bitcoin blow us off its top a little bit, and we get a death cross, golden cross, death cross. But in June 2016, we had a very similar setup, right? We had a very, 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 very similar setup. Although with the advent of yesterday's night's price action, I don't think that that's the right way to be reading these charts, or at least that's what it tells us, right? So we see this massive move to the upside, boom, comes back down, reaccumulates, and boosts itself back up again. Wait, did I make sure that I have the right ones on? Okay, yeah, I do. Great. Anyways, after that, we got our first death cross right here. Get a golden cross about 2 weeks later. Sounds familiar, right? Then we spend out a little bit of time, going to the upside, just like we did recently, and then they converge on each other once again, and Bitcoin, shoves itself back down, gets a death cross right in over here, and we even put in like a similar bear flag right here, and then this one broke to the upside. Even Bitcoin on spot did as well, but on spot we ended up breaking back down below the 200 exponential moving average. As you can see right in over here, it held it, and we got the golden cross relatively soon afterwards, and that's why I was kind of holding on for potentially a nice play to the upside, which this one goes on to literally double over the next, from that point, doubles over the course of the next 3 months. Almost doubles, 88.5%. If we take it all the way from this first one, about 100% actually, a little bit over 100%, if I recall correctly. But anyways, going to this price action right here, because we had this dump last night, that this is not really the way that it's looking right now. It tells me more that the 4-hour death cross wants to get played out, and it's getting respected as of right now. But remember, we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. As long as we are below, especially the 50 exponential moving average, it's I mean, well, you're not going to be getting golden crossed, of course. I mean, as long as you're below the 200, you're definitely not getting golden crossed. But so that's the hard place. But where's the rock? Well, the rock is what can you smell what the rock is cooking? God damn, man, I would just wanted to say that. I've always wanted to say that. But the air that I'm talking about is Jesus Christ. It's the same air that we spoke about before. The 89 is the hard place to the downside right here. Until we actually fully informally break this one, we're kind of caught in this region. And which one holds more weight? Well, I don't really have a strong opinion here. I think that this is one of the times, and because of the most recent price action, I'd rather step back and not even give an opinion on it, and just say, hey, that's what I'd be looking for my next trades. I don't need to have an opinion to make money. Literally no opinion needed. There you go. There you fucking go. Anyways, putting these babies back on. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go there. Okay, great. And that's what I say about that. Let's go check out CMEs. How did they close the day? CMEs closed the day pretty fucking nasty. We lost the 50 exponential moving average. Not a death sentence in and of itself, but I would be looking for this to act as resistance now. We do see daily Stokes still down. We see daily RSI working its way into the bearish control zone, looking a little bit more nasty. What else do we see? What about weekly? Is there anything here that we don't? Weekly looks like rejection off the 10 simple. Pretty easy. What else do we have? What about a lower time frame? Maybe like a 4-hour. Yeah, on the 4 hours, kind of interesting, right? We haven't gone death cross just yet, but we're about to. Assuming we don't get a move back up towards 10.6 in the next. In the next 8 hours, I'd say we'll probably see that happen. And will that be the impetus for actually breaking this support down here? Maybe. It will put added pressure on price action, but until we actually fully informally break it, wouldn't be looking for that to really happen. But it will start to look more nasty, especially with the way that the red 10 simple is going to cross the yellow 20 exponential moving average to the downside. Not looking good there either, man. So if we do break down, if we do break down on spot, from that $10,000 level or whatever the 89 is, I think it's like 99 or something like that, then I'd be looking for the next major move to bring us down, somewhere down around our prior lows, somewhere like 9,100, 9,000-ish region. Then I'd be looking for a move probably to like 88 or 86, and then a move to 82, and then maybe even a move to like 72 or 74 region, something like that. But of course, on each one of those points, I don't treat them as, I treat them as potential reversals until they give me some reason to, kind of, step back. Just because, again, the overall general trend is still to the upside, so I don't want to, whenever that happens, I'm always a lot more conservative trading, against that, and I'm certainly more erring in the side of caution on the, on the former trend, of course. Anyways, in this scenario, you can see we still certainly have the gap at 8,500 on CMEs. And if we put on I'm sure, where's my, I guess I don't have one here, but I guess I can just put it on right there. But if we put on a Fibonacci retracement, you will notice that the Fibonacci, that the 0.5 Fib retracement is coming in right around about 8,600, kind of fulfilling that gap as well. So everyone's going to be looking at that. If Bitcoin does break down, going to be a massive area of interest. Typically, when everyone's got their eyes on something, though, you get one of two things happening. You either overshoot it, or you either overshoot it, or you get front ran. But again, first things first, drop down needs to actually happen, which we have not got just yet. So I would say that it's still appropriate to be a little bit of a waiter, even if you are looking for that. Unless if you shorted above 11,000. If you shorted above 11,000, I think you have a phenomenal position, really. Pretty damn easy to manage as well. But of course, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Let's go check out GBDC. How did GBDC close today? Down about half a buck. But it actually closed the day on an uptick. Actually, it's not so bad right here as far as GBDC is concerned. It looks very similar to CMEs in the posturing of our moving averages. But what it looks like to me actually is that GBDC wants to tick back up here. Very interesting. We do RSI on GBDC does look a little bit more bearish. What else do we have to say about it other than that? Not really so much. I mean, GBDC structure is technically more of an ascending triangle, which is, statistically more a bearishly resolved pattern. What about lower time frames? Maybe like a 4-hour here. Not really getting too much off this chart. Yeah, not really getting too much off this. Just fill the gap, then back down. Fair enough. Anyways, let's go check out the Bitcoin dominance chart. Curious how this subsidiary is doing. There we go. And what do we see here? Looks like we got rejected at this level. Well, we can just read this up. We got rejected at this level right here. Why? Hold on. This does not look right. This is 71.5%, but we have not gotten that high. Wait a second. If I go to a daily, what? 71.5, but on a 4-hour, what did that say? It said 72.5. Whoa. That's very strange. That's very strange. Has anyone else noticed that? You literally get different reads on different time frames. This must be something easy that I'm just kind of missing, I suppose. But that would seem kind of bizarre. I don't know why that calculation would change. Again, if you think that I'm missing something about this on the way that it's calculated, then then please do let me know, because for whatever reason right now my brain is having a fart, but I would have not expected that. Anyways, so that drastically changes it. On a 4-hour, this just looks like reaccumulation. This looks really good. It looks like we're gonna have some down here, which is gonna bode well for alts in the very short term. But longer term, it would look like this is getting reaccumulated in the formation of an ascending triangle, which would probably imply that we reach back towards the prior highs here at about 71.5%. But that's so strange because our prior high on the 4-hour is literally at a 72.5. Again, I don't know why the calculation would be different there, but it does look to me like we want to come back down to this is what makes it difficult. On a 4-hour, this level would be about 70.76, but what does it look like on a daily? On a daily, I'd be looking for right around here. This would be 69.85. And then I do think it bounced from there. So I'd imagine that most alts are probably going to be rallying right now, probably rallying back up to their daily 21. Let's go take a look at Cardano, pick on him, and not quite at the 21, but I do think likely does give a test towards it. But make no mistake about it, medium term, I do think that the Bitcoin dominance chart does tick back up again. So if you are trading alts, it's kind of like a ticking time bomb. But for now, looks like it's kind of holding this formation, mostly going sideways for the most part. Other than that, longer term, I am still bullish on it, but short term, short term and medium term, we're going to see some sideways action here. So very, very short term down, which is going to be good for alts. Medium term probably pops back up into this region, so going to hurt alts once again. And then longer term, like months down the road, I'd be looking for that to pop back up actually. Anyways, okay, so we looked at that. Let's go like a gold really quick. I'm curious how that one's doing. Gold looks to me like it's putting in a local high. I do think that we're going to trade sideways here. I don't think it's like a huge, I don't think it's like a huge issue or anything like that. I do think that we're probably just going to go a little bit of consolidation sideways and then try higher over time. Range likely to be somewhere between where we are right now at about 15, a little bit above 1500, and then all the way down here towards like 1480-ish region. A little bit more longer term though, I am still bullish on this. Weekly actually still looks good to me, and monthly looks good to me as well. Longer term, I would be looking for it to hit into the 1600 region. Anywhere in this blue box territory actually looks okay. Let's go check out the top shitcoins. So I'm curious. I believe I forgot to do this yesterday night on the uploaded video, which would have made me a lot more, which would have made me a lot more bearish essentially. And so let's go through it right now. So let's start with the top two usual criminals, and that's going to be Butyrol and Litecoin. Butyrol coming down to this horizontal level right here, kind of wicking off there. So we do have a nice little support area being formed. If we do close anywhere below about 182 region, I'd be looking for this to hit the next level all the way down to about 162.5. That would imply that Bitcoin breaks below about like 98.50, I'd imagine, and it's probably probably bounce here, go a little bit sideways, and then lower over time. We do have a measure move off this flag formation, much lower. I'm not certain how much I trust that one though. I'd take it one step at a time, really. Let's go check out Mrs. Litecoin. Mrs. Litecoin's same shit, coming down to this horizontal level right here. Higher time frames though, pretty fucking nasty. Pretty nasty here. If this weekly closes anywhere below the 89 exponential moving average, we can go sideways here for a little bit of time, but I would be looking lower overall. But again, I'll give this one a chance first. Wait till the weekly close. If we close anywhere below about $80, then not going to look so hot. Let's go. We got to go check out traditional markets as well. I got plenty to say about that. Stellar, fucking breakdown. Jesus Christ, nasty, bearish as fuck. Monero. Very similar to Bitcoin. Probably does. I mean, they're all going to do what Bitcoin does in a more emotional way, but Monero seems to be a little more correlated. But then again, you look at Monero's chart and it just looks like a less advanced Ethereum or Litecoin chart. As you can see, I mean, they're all essentially doing the same thing. It's just like some are just more resilient, I suppose. Ripple nipples. What's he doing? Any sort of a weekly total close, especially below the 200 exponential moving average, which is 26 cents even. And I'd get pretty damn bearish on this for the next major leap down towards 17 cents and then 13.5 cents right here. But that needs to happen first. For now, probably does bounce this area. Usually it's not the best. It's not the best decision to short into a region like this until it actually fully and formally breaks. You just don't know how long it's going to hold. EOS, what's EOS doing? EOS, same fucking thing, same chart, literally same fucking chart. Neo, same fucking chart. Wow, same chart. Wow. Bcash, same fucking chart. Tron Cash, goddamn. Take them away, boys. Motherfucker, man. Bcash, bad. Zcash. I think this one actually might be in the worst posture of them all. It's all the way back down at its January, February lows. It's faded the whole rally. The whole fucking rally. Oh my god, man. Typically you will bounce around your prior lows. I'm not even saying like reversal, but just bounce. Did we already get that though? Let's go down to a lower time frame. Looks like continuation, bro. That looks like continuation, bro. Fucking meme it up. Yeah, man. Again, at your prior lows, are we ready to trend still? Oscillators are pretty beat up here. Even the daily jewel is, it's going to line up for a buy signal probably in the next like 2 weeks, most likely. Anyways, so I don't know how appropriate it is to get bearish right here, especially when Bitcoin's still kind of playing off this level. Everything's on major supports right now, right? So what's more likely? Do we bounce off this level once again and kind of drag it out? I think that's probably the most likely thing to happen. If we break through this level, that's going to be the most bearish thing to happen. I'm not saying anything of particular value right there. It's kind of a nonsensical statement, but basically it kind of all rides on this region to me. So with that said, I think it's time to wrap. Oh no, we need to look at traditional markets. There we go. 293 spot 37. Looks to me like traditional markets want to have a little bit more of a foray into the upside. I still hold true to what I said earlier this week. I think that we work our way up to about 275, maybe 276. I mean, shit, man. There's actually like not really too much stopping me from 297, but 295, 296 looks okay as well. Regardless of that, I actually do think that ultimately this does come lower towards like 275 region, and then I'd actually be looking for this to rise up like the fucking Cobra, more long term. A lot of people are going to be getting very, 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 very bearish on traditional markets. I think that's going to be the wrong time to be doing it. In fact, everyone's extremely bearish right now and looking for this to enter into a recession zone, which is true. I mean, there are certainly concerns. You do have the inverted bond yield curve and everything, but what they don't tell you is that it can take years to play out sometimes. It can literally take years. So, angling a trade right now for something like that is good luck. Good fucking luck. I'd rather see something in the charts first, and I'm not necessarily certain that we have it just yet. I do want to remind myself that higher time frames are still, like the monthly is not necessarily bearish here. This is not a bearish monthly. this is actually okay. You know, we're kind of coming to the end of the month now. It is the 22nd of April, or sorry, of August. If we closed above like 293, 292, that would be okay. Anyways, I mean, this kind of actually even destroys my case for perhaps even going lower this month. I mean, shit, this one looks if we end like this, that's gonna be pretty strong. Anyways, going back to the charts. And looking at this, yeah, short term, I do think that we have some up. We'll kind of reassess it in this range, but my first opinion would probably be that we see a short term pullback at the very least, and then we'll reassess. Going back to Bitcoin, kind of wrapping this bitch up again. Higher time frames, big breakdown point anywhere below about 9,800 on the 89 exponential moving average. Been getting our lows pretty damn well, so I do think that we have a change of behavior if we do break below it. On lower time frames, Bitcoin looks to me like it's gonna try to dig itself out of the fucking muddy sand once again. You know, it just feels like 6,000 level, all over. And I wouldn't be looking for this to kind of confirm. I wouldn't be looking for this to confirm a local low if we could, if we can get back above about 10,300 on a 4-hour digital closing basis, and especially and that would be like a more aggressive way of doing it. The more conservative way would be waiting until it gets back above essentially the breakdown point right here at about 10.5 region. Even a take back above that region would probably be good enough. No, you still want to see a close, to be fair. Anyways. As long as Bitcoin kind of oscillates within this region, I would expect more frustration as we see kind of everything come into fruition with each other. I forgot to do this as well. We do see all lower time frame Stokes starting to line up once again. We're starting to see the aligning of the signs, I suppose. We got 4-hour right here coming down all the way to the critical zone. We got 3-hour already there and starting to turn. We got 2-hour, I think, turning as well in the same area, and hourly probably already going to be up. So I do think that we have a little bit more sideways to go, and then we'll give it an actual try to see if this is going to end up being a local low or not, to work off of. And if this is a local low, then we could probably work our way back up to 11,000 plus. So that would certainly be tradable. So I would keep an intentful eye on the price action right now. But for now, like I said, just kind of hanging out between this like 10,150 region and this 9,900 region low. And until we get a break out of this region one way or the other, not really too much else to talk about. Anyways, that's going to do it for today. Hope you enjoyed this. If you want me to talk more about options, I'd love to. But I also understand that it's probably boring for a lot of people as well. Anyways, as always, wish you well over here from Chicago, Illinois. Take care and see you soon.